Yes, good evening. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. I pressed unmute and for some reason it didn't want to mute. By the way, Mark Taylor, stop trying to come into the back. I'm not having anyone on for 15 minutes. For 15 minutes. Give me 15 minutes. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Tottenham Hotspur fans, whatever club you support, good evening to you all. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. What a strange old evening at the moment. I'm watching, currently got games on. I've got Atletico Madrid are playing. Napoli are playing, Roma are playing, Marseille are playing. I watched Liverpool, I watched Chelsea. It's all been very interesting today. Tottenham Hotspur, though, 4-0 winners yesterday. Nice, comfortable game is what many predicted. A nice, comfortable game is what we got in the end, So this is the show where I invite people to come on and have their say. And again, it will be 5 minutes per guest. You've got to have your camera on and you've got to be somewhere that's quiet and you've got to be wearing clothes. If you don't have all of those things sorted, then I will not be letting you come onto the show. Tonight will just be Spurs fans at the moment, and depending on how many people we've got queuing up, it will just be Spurs fans. And it's a chance for people to listen. I think, YouTubers have channels and what's thrown at YouTubers a lot is, you think your opinion's better than everyone else. You like the sound of your own voice. People, cool. Well, here's a chance. Everybody can come on and have their say, but come on and have something to talk about. Don't come on and expect me to go, what do you think of this? Come on, tell me what you want to talk about. And look, we'll have a chat. Look, I've seen again, yesterday, a nice, comfortable, convincing 4-0 win. I don't really think anyone thought it was going to be anything but convincing. I thought we played really well, and I thought we should have played really well. First home game of the season. And let's be fair, I think that will be one of the easier games that we have this season. Everton, for me, they look in big trouble. I don't know what they've done in the summer to really strengthen themselves. Lots of talk about the club ownership. Look, I'm not taking away from Spurs' win. It was a good, comfortable win. There were some decent performances in there, but it's very, very difficult. It's, by the way, sorry, I'm just seeing here that I think Gazaniga is about to be sent off. No, he's only been given a yellow card. For anyone who's watching Atletico Madrid Girona, I do not know how he's not been sent off there. Anyway, listen, it was a nice game. It was comfortable. I think, as always, you've got people that are underplaying it. You've got people that are overplaying it. I've seen people ring up Talk Sport talking about the league should fear us. I've got people talking about Odegaard being this wonderful, wonderful debut. I thought he did well. I thought he did okay. I don't think anything amazing. People saying, oh my God, Van der Ven and Romero was sensational. I think it was the easiest game in the world ever for Van der Ven and Romero. I'm not saying they didn't do well, but it was a very, very easy game for them because Everton don't attack and have nothing in the forward lines. But there were very, very good things. Off the back of it, the reason why I do shows like this is for people to come on and have their say. And I want to see if any of the naysayers, so to speak, come on. They get a lot of hate. I got people yesterday going, you're in the mud now. And I'm like, sorry, why I'm in the mud? Because we beat Everton 4-0 after I predicted that we'd beat Everton easily. Like, I don't get it. What do you have to say about that, Sava? I bet you're disappointed we won. Yeah, I'm really disappointed my club won a game of football. It just feels absolutely crazy what happens in YouTube comments. The immaturity is really worrying in the world. It's really worrying to see. But hey, listen, it is what it is. Do I think anyone deserves special mention? I thought that Basuma had a good game. I thought he had a good game. I thought it was a comfortable game for our midfield because, again, Everton don't want the football. Everton don't have a lot of the football. I think that it was a great free kick there from Griezmann. Sorry, Griezmann's just scored a wonderful free kick there. It was a comfortable game. Bigger tests will come. Really important, though. As I said in my video yesterday, really, really important to get the 3 points. We simply had to. You can't draw with Leicester City and then not beat Everton. So it was very, very important. So Tottenham 4, Everton 0. Nice, comfortable game. Listen, first of all, that was England's #1 playing against us. A gift of a goal. Sonny did his job. Lovely for the second Sonny goal in terms of Van de Ven running the length of the pitch. Great header from Romero for the third goal, and the first goal from Ibasuma was a lovely strike. So it was as straightforward as Premier League games come. But now we move to a much more difficult run of games. 4 points, under our belts, and let's see what happens, shall we? I'll be interested to know in the chat, and I will go out to the chat at about 9:20. I will put the link is already pinned, but about 9:20, I'll put the link out again and offer people to come on. Look, it was. I don't know. Did anyone see anything that they weren't expecting? I'm seeing a lot of people, as usual, a lot of people get super carried away. For me, that is what Spurs do. I'm not going to say we're flat track bullies, but what I want to see is a performance like that. Let's do that to Newcastle next week. Let's do that to Newcastle. They've got injuries in the back line. Let's do that to them. When I see that against a Newcastle, against a Man United, who else we got against an Arsenal, I'll get excited. But for me, I've got a feeling many teams are going to be battering. Many teams are going to be battering Everton. So look, what can we take from yesterday? I don't think we can take a lot. I think it was the sort of game we should be winning. But nice to keep a clean sheet. I just couldn't believe. I knew Everton weren't great. I couldn't believe how bad they were. 3-0 to Brighton, 4-0 to Spurs. I mean, it's got to be worrying times if you are an Everton fan right now, surely. Mike said, I don't know if you felt this way, but was Romero and VDV sitting back just a little bit more? To be honest, I didn't really see any change. It was a comfortable game. We had all the football. Let's be fair. Everton did the square root of nothing. The only player for them who I thought tried to get on the ball, tried to make some things happen was Dwight McNeil. He kept coming into the middle of the park because they couldn't get it out to him wide. But let's be fair, a lovely win, comfortable win. And what I find interesting is that, I think everyone just gets a little bit carried away. And that's fine. Everyone support the team how you want. For me, I'm going to make the decision after the first 4, 5, 6 games when I've seen how we play against better opposition. So far, we're 2 points down in my mind. We're 2 points down on what I predicted at the beginning of the season for the first 6 games. Don't know if anyone remembers, I put out that I thought we'd get 10 points from our first 6 games. 6 points of those were 6 points of those were against Leicester and against Everton. So we're actually a couple of points down. Look, Ryan is saying, I was so bored watching us. Look, then you've got to add in, a few different things as well. You've got to add in, Odegaard had his debut again. I think people going well overboard about Odegaard. Listen, looks young, promising, but again, nice to see him in his first hour. I thought he showed some nice touches. I thought he showed some willingness to run at players. But as normal, we're seeing just a little bit of oh my God, it's a genius signing. Again, I'll hold it in. I'll wait and see what this boy does after 5 games, 10 games, 15 games. What I will say, the negative for me in all of this is Brennan Johnson. He honestly one of the worst players I think I've seen in a Spurs shirt. I genuinely don't understand. I don't understand. When people keep telling me he's young, he'll come good. He's not young. He's nearly 24. And I don't know what he does. This weekend, I've seen some wonderful wide players in performances. His age, maybe a bit older, maybe a bit younger. I mean, Savio of Man City, you look, I mean, just absolutely different class compared to a Brennan Johnson. And you might say, oh, yeah, but that's why he's at City. Madueke, Whenever I watch Madueke played it recently, it just again looks a complete different breed of footballer. His touch, his control, his movement, his willingness to go for goal. Again, there's another one. Diaz today for Liverpool. Miles better. Salah on the other side. Obviously, we know about that. Trossard, Bukayo Saka. I was watching Morgan Rogers running with the ball for Villa. Again, you put Brennan Johnson next to these guys, and he looks terrible. He looks absolutely terrible. But other than that, yesterday there can't be any complaints. We did the job. We got what we wanted. Rakesh, whoa. Rakesh, you don't come to my channel and tell anybody where they need to go, right? These guys are more than welcome, all right? It's meant to be a grown-up forum for grown-ups. I don't have childishness like this, all right? So please, if anyone needs to go, it will be you. I don't want you to go, but just stop telling other people that they have to leave, all right? Let's stop telling people. Billy has said, I think we played, where is it? Billy has said, I think we played well yesterday, but Johnson needs to be benched. For me, I think Johnson needs to leave the club. I'm not even going to make two words about it. For me, I think if Tottenham had any ambition at all, we would try and offload him in this window and get somebody else in. For me, I think this is going to be a weight around Ange's neck that I'm judging him by. Ange wanted to bring him in. Ange, spent £47 million on him. And I don't know what he does. And I think the fact that this guy plays over some of the other players truly, truly baffles me. And again, I think the more and more I see Brennan Johnson play, the more and more I think, and surely you see this. Like, surely you see this. Look, we'll see what happens in the next few weeks. But listen, we have got Newcastle next week. So look, I'm going to put the link in the chat. If people come on, you will get 5 minutes. This is the chance. I constantly have people going at me. By the way, you can come on if you agree with me as well, by the way. But I constantly have people going at me, whether it's in the chat, whether it's in my YouTube comments, constantly. You're this, you're that. I'll bury you in a debate. This. Cool. This is the chance for anybody to come on. Talk to me. If you don't like something I've said over the past month, weeks, days, come on. Tell me you didn't like it. Let's have the chat. Let's see who's got those cojones to do it, because a lot of people sit behind a keyboard and they're very quick to come in. I had some idiot, I think Chris Davis or whatever his name is, in the last couple of hours saying to me, "Oh, Sava, what have you got to say for yourself now?" I mean, I don't know what that means. What have I got to say for myself now? I predicted we'd have an easy win against Everton. We got an easy win against Everton. This belief that people like me and Stel want the club to lose is mad. We want to sign better players to win things. So really, really weird. Big up. So listen, here is the link. The link is in the chat. It is pinned, but you can see it there. It's been put in the chat at 9:20 exactly. There it is. There it is. You must have a camera on. You must be somewhere quiet and have something you want to say. All right. This isn't for you to just come on and for me to ask you questions. I am going to ask you what you want to say. We're going to talk about it. Please bear with me. Sorry, bless me. I can feel my nose going. Let me get my first guest on. So, first guest, Mark Taylor, is here. Mark, how are we doing, man? You well?
I'm good. How about yourself, bud?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. I've had a really relaxing weekend. And then I watched the Spurs game. It was nice and relaxing. I've watched a lot of football this morning and this afternoon. So, yeah, it's been good. Mark, Tottenham. Nice, easy win. What do you want to say? It doesn't have to be about that, by the way. Whatever you want to say about Spurs.
I've just got a feeling it was a good professional performance, but nothing more than we expected or should have expected. We should have expected the same score against Leicester, and that never happened.
Yeah,
I just think we're just going to be, and I think you know as well, 3 or 4 top quality players short this season.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, you put if it wasn't 7-8-0 yesterday, it was 4-0. You put an Eze, an Edison, a top right winger in that side. I think you're looking this. We could be top four. We could be winning something, but I just feel we're just going to be that little bit short again.
So let me ask you then, Mark. I mean, I think look, you know me as a Spurs fan. I like to get context around comments. A little bit short for what? What does that mean in your opinion?
For me, that means winning a trophy, getting into Europe, challenging the league. We're just going to be a little bit short, mate. With the youngsters and everything, they need to be learning from very good players or top quality players. Mm-hmm. And a lot of positions, like on the right, in the midfield, maybe up front, we just don't have it at the moment. We have all right players, but we don't have top players in certain positions, mate.
No, look, I completely agree with you. And that's why I find it really difficult to look at games like yesterday. And you know what every football fan base is like. This isn't Spurs. This is every football fan base. We see a result like yesterday and people go, oh, my God. Ange board. Oh, my God, we were scintillating. I expect us to batter teams like Everton. I truly do. They're a mess. I expect us to be picking up wins against Leicester. The bigger tests are to come, right? And I make you right. I don't think we've got good enough players to do more than we did last year. But what do you think the limit is for this Spurs squad this year, assuming nobody else comes in?
If nobody else comes in, I think we'll come 6th or 7th. I don't see us get any higher than that. I think we've paid a lot of money or overpaid for the left winger yesterday, the forward, Archie Gray. I think if Solanke was 25 million, not a bad buy. If Archie Gray was 10, 15 million, that's not bad. This kid, 15, 20 million. I just think we've just overpaid a lot, and all that money could have been put towards better quality players.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, I'll bring this up with you for the last couple of minutes of our chat. I'm not being rude, because obviously I've got lots of people waiting in the background. It's interesting, isn't it? Because when I look at Son now, and this brings on your point about Solanke, when I look at Son now, I don't see Son as a top winger anymore. I don't. I think he's had his day there. I think there was a time when he was one of the best wingers in Europe. He was one of the best wingers in the Premier League. Now I see him as a very ordinary winger, but the boy can finish. We know he can finish. And when he plays through the middle, he does finish. However, we're saying he can finish through the middle, but you've just spent £65 million on a striker. It has bringing in a striker. I'm not saying we didn't need to, but has bringing in a striker as rigid as Solanke. And what I mean by that is he doesn't play anywhere across the three. He is a centre forward. Has bringing in a player that rigid taken away from Son's dangerous points? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, the thing was, though, again, it was against Everton. Son hasn't scored against Arsenal this year yet, or Newcastle's this year, or anybody like that at the moment. But I think if you had like a Sonny on the bench now and again, playing in certain games, I'm not saying like somebody of the quality of Nico Williams or that sort of quality on the left, where you've got Sonny on the bench, or you can play him in different games, your squad's a whole different ball game. It's massive. You wouldn't have to play Sonny all the time, which you will do with this season because there's nobody else as good as him on the left.
Yeah. But look, I completely agree with you. Look, what I find funny is every time Son scores a goal, YouTubers like me get a million messages going, "Oh, Son proving the haters wrong." Like, first of all, I don't think Son's got any haters. Like I find that all very childish. I think people talking about Son not being what he was is fair enough. I think that's just a natural thing for most footballers. But every time somebody says anything about Son and then he next scores a goal, everyone goes, "Oh, he silenced everyone." It's like, well, I mean, come on, guys. It's like, yeah, Son's going to score goals. But what I want to see is the magic we used to see from Son. Has he still got it against the big boys from that left-hand side? I don't know. The answer at the moment, I don't know. Let's see when Solanke's back. But listen, Mark, I really appreciate you coming on, my friend. Always a big supporter of the channel. Listen, stick around in the chat, and I really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Take care, buddy. See you later. By the way, big up to absolutely everybody. Please smash that like button. I'll say it again. If you come on, you must have your camera on. Listen, I am one of the only YouTubers that allows you to come on. Right? Okay, so please, treat this with the respect it deserves. Be nice. As I said, if anyone wants to come on and debate anything that they hate me, that they think I'm negative, sure, come on. If you agree with me, come on. Up to you. But don't be giving it large in the chat if you haven't got the cojones to come on. Big up my next guest. Big up Rinketic. How are we doing, bro? You all right?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. What's going on? What do you want to say about Tottenham Hotspur?
To be honest, even with the win from like yesterday, I'm quite worried. It's like 5 days until the transfer window closes, and we haven't brought in like any big game changers. Like, okay, some would say Solanke, but my point still stands. Like, he's like the only like senior, like full-time senior player we have brought in. And if we look at like Leipzig, for example, they more or less said, we ain't going to buy anyone unless someone goes. And they probably have a full list of like 10 different people. And while we're waiting like until the transfer window closes, good teams like Brighton pick up like Matthew O'Reilly, and other teams like pick up like good players that we probably could have needed or would have fit our system in some ways. And
look, I do agree with you. Look, Rinketic, you watch me enough to know, and I always ask this question when people want to talk to me. It's really difficult because everybody in their own mind has got a different idea of what they want Spurs to be, where they think they should be finishing, and what is success, right? So lots of fans, we're all guilty of this. We all say we haven't done enough. Enough for what, right? Like, enough for what? Enough for me is the owner told us we're moving stadium, we're going to challenge, right? For me, have we done enough to try and close the gap to the big clubs? I don't think we have at all. Have we done enough to maintain the 5th, 6th, 7th Europa League positions? Yes, I think we have. But there's a huge difference between those two things, right? So I agree with you. I don't think we've done enough to take us to there. I'm not saying anyone we've signed is poor, but I'm not saying anyone we've signed really changes the game for me. But you know what? After 10, 15, 20 games, we're either going to be right, we're going to be wrong, or we're just going to be somewhere in the middle about it.
I'm kind of like worried we will sign another like Brennan Johnson or Sissoko, like a 30, 40, 50 million last day, like who's kind of mediocre, because it's typically we right waiting until like 25, 59 and be like, oh my God, we signed someone to make everyone happy. And this makes me quite worried, especially because like us Spurs fans, some tries to like hide behind this like we ain't as bad as we actually think because we won against Everton yesterday.
No, listen. Look, absolutely, I agree with you. Just quickly, Rinketic. This is what I meant, guys, by people in the chat, right? Savra's a typical hater. I don't think I've said anything today that is hating or negative or anything. This is what you get. Hedging his bets every time Spurs win comfortably. I don't know what that means. I didn't hedge my bets. I put a video out saying we will win today comfortably. When Ange delivers a trophy this season, he will be hiding under Stell's bed or probably in Perchie's closet. Yeah, sure. Gary, I tell you what, I will give you maximum respect for this comment if you come on and say this to my face. Come on and say this to my face, because this is what I mean. You're talking about me hedging my bets, me hiding. You're just a little troll. You can't even spell the name Gary correctly. You've got no photo and you're in the chat. Dude, you've tried your best and you've made yourself look like a bit of a twat. Rinketic, anything you want to say before I get the next guest on?
Yeah, I kind of want to add to that point. Like, he was like, Ange will win a trophy. I'm right now started doing like my FIFA coaching badges and stuff. and I'm not looking at Ange and be like, he's the coach I want to learn from. I have like 10 others. I'd be like, yeah, this guy, Ange ain't one of them.
Well, look, listen, first of all, good luck on the coaching badges. They're a great
Thank
thing
you.
to do. I've done them. It's good fun. You learn a lot. You learn a lot of things that you didn't think you would learn being a football fan, right? You learn a lot of
Exactly.
tactical side to the game. So when people just say things like, "Oh, he's not a winger, he's a midfielder," and you go, "Well, no, actually, right." So you're gonna learn a lot. And listen, you don't have to.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go on and coach, you don't have to be a coach in the mold of anyone. You go and coach how you want to
No.
coach. I certainly
Yeah.
wouldn't coach any of the teams I've coached to play kamikaze, but hey, that's life, right? That's life. Listen, dude, good luck with your badges. I'll catch you soon. And thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Take care, buddy. Oh my God, Lewis, I've not seen you for about a year, mate. I think back then, had you just turned 16 or 15 or something?
15, yeah. 15.
What are you now? Are you 16 yet?
No, next year.
Jesus Christ, they get younger and younger. How's it going, my man? You good?
It's all right. I missed you. It's been
Oh,
good. Yeah.
oh, thanks, mate. That's nice to hear. Most people just call me a dickhead, so thank you for that. That's really nice. Lewis, Tottenham, talk to me. Whatever you want to talk about, the transfer window, yesterday's game, the club, the owner, the chairman, whatever you want to do. What do you want to say?
It's been peaceful not watching him for a couple of weeks. I'll tell you that.
Right.
Yesterday's game was all right. Yeah, it's good. Wasn't expecting it, to be fair.
What's your hopes for this season? What do you think Spurs can achieve?
Top 5, I think. That's the max
Top
we
5.
can get. Yeah.
So you don't think we've done enough to get fourth place, to go one better than last season?
Don't think it's going to happen.
No. Okay. Do you think anything's going to happen in the last? What have we got? We've got 5 days of the transfer window, I think. Yeah, we've got Monday to Friday left. 5 days of the window. You expecting anything big from Tottenham Hotspur? Anything that makes us go, yes, Levy, you're a living legend?
Well, when is Levy a good person? He's not, is he? Don't know. Hopefully there's good signings, because if there's not, just don't know what to do.
All right. And any last thing you wanna mention then before I get someone else on? Is there anything you really wanted to say?
Just come on, you Spurs, really. Hopefully better this season than last season.
Listen, love it. Listen, and when are you 16? When's the 16th birthday?
24th of April.
24th.
Next year.
Listen, you let me know before then. I'll send you a Spurs shirt for your birthday, all right?
Oh, great, yeah.
Oh, God, all right. I won't bloody send you one then. I'll send you an Arsenal shirt for your birthday.
No. I hate that. If that comes to my door, that's getting on fire.
Listen, dude, don't be depressed about Tottenham. You've got many years of that to happen in your future.
Yeah.
I'm just so sorry that Daniel Levy in your lifetime hasn't delivered a single trophy. I apologise on his behalf, all right?
Yeah.
All right, dude, listen, you take care and I'll catch you soon. Enjoy your bank holiday, all right?
Yeah. All right, thanks, mate.
All right, mate, you take care. See you later.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Oh, Lewis. I haven't seen Lewis for ages. I remember when he first came on, he was like 14. Big up. We've got, here's the link, by the way. There are people waiting. As I said, people in the chat. I'm only taking Spurs fans. If you're not a Spurs fan, I'm just going to put it out there right now. I'll boot you immediately. Please be a Spurs fan. There is the link. Everyone's going to get 5 minutes. Please have a topic that you want to talk about. It does make my life a hell of a lot easier. Teslim. Is that how I pronounce your name? Is it Teslim?
It's Teslim. It's
Teslim.
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 Yeah.
How are you doing, my friend? Are you good?
I'm very fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing a lot better than your camera is doing. That's for sure.
It's broken. It's broken.
No worries. What did you want to? I'm guessing you're a Spurs fan.
Yes, I am actually.
Good.
I am
good.
So I do. Okay. You go first.
No, I was going to say. What do you want to say, mate? This is about you lot, not me.
Okay, so I just joined this whole YouTube space and everything, and I wanted to react to one of your videos. There was this show that you had with Sava, Stel, and some other guys, and I actually disagreed with a couple things you said. Unfortunately, I'm on holiday right now, and I don't have my notes. Yeah, but I
Okay.
remember I was in the comments, and this one I spoke about it in the comments, and I remember of the recruitment. And I said something about how I don't blame Levy for the recruitment. I blame the recruitment team and Ange. Because genuinely speaking, as much as anybody wants to say, oh, Levy this, Levy that, genuinely speaking, if Ange said Solanke, sorry, Dominic Solanke, that's actually how to pronounce it.
Mhm.
He doesn't even know how to pronounce his name because I'm also Nigerian. But Solanke, yeah, he he can't be the only Ange signing. Like, you can't tell the manager that that was the only player he was going to get that he wanted. So everybody's saying people like Archie Gray and all these other guys. If Ange wanted another signing, obviously I understand like a couple there, like one or two will be club signings. But you can't tell me that everybody we brought in is Levy that wanted this guy. So I blame the manager and the recruitment team for these signings because I genuinely believe these signings are not good enough. Even Solanke, yeah, I have questions about him because if you go back, and I want you guys to do this, everybody in the chat, everybody here, Sava including you, go back and watch Bournemouth versus Tottenham 3-1. We won that game 3-1. And in that game, we were destroyed by Bournemouth. I remember this game vividly last season. We were absolutely destroyed by Bournemouth. And in that game, Bournemouth had a lot of chances. You see a lot of chances fall to Dominic, and he missed them. Alex Scott came on from the bench and scored a brace. That's how much chances that Bournemouth had. He scored a brace, one was offside. And in that game, you also see Richarlison missing a couple chances as well. And watching the highlights, because I made a video or I'm releasing a video on it in by tomorrow or next in a few days. But watching that highlight when I was doing my research for my video, I just was thinking, my God, these two people are now the strikers for Tottenham Hotspur. This is insane. Like, this is absolutely insane. And I found myself convincing myself that this signing was a good signing when we signed Solanke. And I actually took a step back and asked myself this question at the beginning of the window. If somebody had told me that, oh, these are the players we're going to sign, are you going to be happy with this? Would I have been happy? And I told myself no. And I feel like sports fans have been stabbed so much that we are now accepting scraps. Like, we're thinking Solanke is a good signing for Tottenham Hotspur. Like, because you're so starved and you just want something to get you excited, like just to see a new player in your team's jersey, that we are almost convincing ourselves that this is a good signing. I don't know how much time I have left, but let me just
Okay, so the crux of it is that you disagreed when we were talking about Daniel Levy making the signings. Is that the kind of crux of it?
Blaming him for the signings. I don't blame him. I blame the manager and the recruitment team.
Yeah, look. Listen, I'm someone that doesn't blame one person. I blame a lot of people for Tottenham for the last 24 years. The problem that you've got is Daniel Levy is the one consistent component throughout those 24 years. Do I think Ange Postecoglou has brilliant talent ID? I'm yet to be sold that he's got talent ID at this level. I think he's got talent ID for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Do I think he's got talent ID to get 4th and above? I'm not sure. So far from what I've seen in the majority of signings, I don't actually think so. Only my opinion. If we finish 4th this year, I'll be proved completely wrong. If we don't, again, it's another year where he's not, these are his signings and he's not done it. The problem is every manager doesn't ever seem to change the level of signings we buy. That can't be coincidence. Every recruitment team doesn't change the level of player we buy. That can't be coincidence. So for me, that has to sit at the top with the owner. There's no way that all of these directors of football, all of these scouts, all of these managers are all coming up with kids. There's no way all of these people are asking for just kids. So for me, I can blame Daniel Levy. I will blame Daniel Levy for the overarching problems at the football club. But that doesn't mean that I can't blame Ange for certain things and the director of football for certain things. I think there's a lot of the pie to go around. So for me, this isn't just about Levy, but Levy is always the one that is at the forefront of everything. And again, he promised, these aren't my words, he promised things would change. He promised we're going to compete. He promised our Tottenham was back. He promised trophies. He's not delivered in any of that. We're 24 years in. I don't know how much more the man has to keep doing this before we actually are allowed to blame him. Does that answer your question appropriately?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Can I quickly say something? I don't know.
Yeah,
I think I'm out of time.
Yeah.
Okay. So I also agree with you on the whole Ange is not. I think you've said this before that Ange doesn't use Son properly. And I just want to provide a bit of context to this. So I don't know if sports fans remember, but if you remember vividly, the season that Son actually broke into the scene properly and made a name for himself was in 2019. If you go back and check the stats, yeah, before then, Manchester City destroyed Tottenham majority of the time. But that game, probably because Harry Kane wasn't available, so Poch decided to do something different. He decided to play on the counter. And in the first leg, Son scored the solo goal. In the second leg, we remember the chance of him running down through a goal and then putting it in the top corner. Or I can't remember, or bottom corner. I can't remember where exactly. But in that game, we won the game on aggregate on away goal, by beating them through counter attacks. And after that, Son had a lot of good years. And Son played under managers like Nuno, Conte, and Jose. All three managers have one thing in common. They play counter-attack football, which means Son has space to run in behind. Even during those seasons, that period, he also shattered the whole Premier League duo record with Son. So it shows that this is where this guy plays the best football. Now, Ange Postecoglou wants his winger to start out wide. Son's best attributes right now, because he doesn't have the pace he used to have before, he can't dribble like he used to dribble before, is his finishing. If you're playing Udogie in that number 10 spot, which is actually a very good shooting area, but I never see that guy shoot. He frustrates me a lot, but that's a different conversation on its own. But
dude, I am going to have to get you to get to a point here, because you've had 9 minutes and I've got 6 people waiting in the back. That's all right.
I'm so sorry. But basically, I do agree with you that the manager doesn't use Son properly. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, just quickly, 30 seconds on Son before I get the next person on. By the way, the running order is Brian, Hasper, Ange the Goat, Safe, Billy, and then Paul. So that is the. I'll try and get you all through. If not, just sit back, relax, enjoy the show, and disagree with me, agree with me, whatever you want to do. Look, the 30 seconds I will say on Son is. First of all, mate, I can't agree that when he broke into this team properly was 2019. That was Son's 4th season at the football club. I think he was way involved in being one of our better players before 2019. Look, I think...
No, I said made a name for himself in the world stage, in the sort of world-class level, sort of.
Yeah, okay, look, I haven't got time to be going into the world-class conversation. I don't think he's world-class or has ever been, in my opinion. Look, I just think that it's a difficult one with Son at the moment, because lots of people, I think a lot of people who have never played the game or coached the game always get pace without the ball versus pace with the ball confused. Son hasn't lost his pace when running. Son, for me, has lost that pace and power when running with the ball. When he runs with a ball now, I don't think he's got enough to scare the best defenders. Games like yesterday, he's going to... Listen, Everton are poor. We'll see. Let's see when we play Arsenal. Let's see what he does against Ben White and Saliba on that right-hand side. Yeah, that's the test for me. When he's playing against those two, can he take them to the cleaners? But listen, dude, I am going to have to let you go. We've gone well over time here. But listen, thanks for coming on. Good luck with your YouTube channel. And if you need any help, just shout, all right?
No problem, man. Thank you very much.
Enjoy your holidays. Take care. All right. I'll get the next person on in just 2 seconds. Guys, girls, please smash the like button. Only 114 likes. There's just under 400 of you in here. Please bear in mind, I'm one of the only YouTubers that allows you to come on and have your say. So love me, hate me, whatever. I do let people come on and have their say. Yeah, Gary, typical troll. They come in the chat, they can't say it to your face. You know, like this person. How after a win you guys keep on talking about all the bad stuff? I haven't said anything bad, have I? It's like you don't want to be happy. You keep. Dude, I don't know. Again, Barb Shuka, intelligence in conversation is really, really important. I'm inviting people on to talk about what they want to talk about. I'm talking with them. I have not set the agenda for this show. 2 of these, 1 of these. It's really, really important. Don't type if you can't listen. Big up, Brian. How are we doing, my friend? You're on mute. So just so you know, before you start talking, you're on mute. There you go.
Okay,
How are you, man?
I'm fine, bro. And
Good,
first,
good. What do you want to say, man? Sorry for the wait. What do you want to say?
the first thing, the person who was just here before me,
Yep.
he said, for me, I thought when we sold Hurricane, we should have sold Son too, because it was Kane and Son equals to goal. But Son alone, I don't think he can provide the number that he used to.
Mhm.
Now we are playing kamikaze football, full gang ho football now. Feel me?
Yeah.
How can you expect Son being out on the wing out wide to do the same things like this? First of all, Levy out. I don't know what Levy is doing in this football club there. Seriously.
Yeah.
This transfer window has been shit. The last time I saw, bruv, we're buying people like Archie Gray. Someone like, bruv, these people are not good enough to even start for any Big Six.
Yeah, look, you know, listen, I agree with you. Look, it all depends on what we're looking at, right? From my point of view, Brian, the standards I hold the club to are, I'm holding the club to the standards of what my manager told me to hold the club to. The manager said we need better winning mentality. He said that, not me. I agreed with him. He said that we need better winning mentality. Cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
The owner's telling us the stadium's going to allow us to challenge. So you've got the owner and you've got the chairman and the manager both talking big games, right? Then you've got half the fan base who are talking a smaller game. Oh, well, you know, it doesn't matter, they're kids, and in 5 years we're going to win. For me, there's a huge disparity between what we're being told and what people are actually listening to, right? And I think that's really important. Look, Archie Gray, for me, I think is a player you bring in when you've sorted out your first 11. I think Archie Gray could be a great player in a few years. I don't know. I've not seen enough of him. In the cameos I've seen of him, Brian, I've not seen him and gone, wow, this kid, yeah, I get it. Not yet. He looks neat and tidy, gives the ball away quite a lot. But other than that, he looks pretty neat and tidy. But I've not seen anything that makes me go, I get it. Now, he's 18. I wouldn't expect to. The problem is, again, a large portion of the fan base have decided that they know Archie Gray inside out, that they know he's amazing, that they know he's ready for first team football. Cool. Well, yesterday, you had no Bentancur. Sarr had a slight knock, we were told, before the game. And still, he didn't start Bergvall or Gray. So if he's buying these players in, and yet yesterday he put both Maddison and Kulu in the midfield, what does that tell you about Gray and Bergvall? That he didn't want to put them in against a really poor team at home. Right? So, again, look, I'm not knocking the kids, but I'm not also going to blow smoke up his arse because everybody wants every 18-year-old to turn into Lionel Messi. So, will he be good enough? I don't know. I just don't know, mate. I don't know.
But what I think is Thorn, he should be sold right now because he doesn't fit anywhere in this like the way Ange wants to play. I don't think he fits. I know he's like our best player because of the PR and all, but it's just slowing us down because when he plays on the wing, he doesn't take on his man. Like his best attribute is finishing.
Mm-hmm. Look,
now,
look, I think it's difficult when we're talking about selling Son. Look, we sold Kane last year. If they had gone this year and sold Son, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you. For me, every player comes to the end of their cycle. For me, I feel like Son, no matter how much we're saying is getting older, unfortunately, we've bought so badly in the forward areas for the last 8-9 years since we signed Son. he's still the best one there. That's the concerning thing for me, Brian. We've put 60 million on Richarlison, who's nowhere near as good as Son. 65 million on Solanke, who's nowhere near as good as Son. We've spent money on Odegaard. We spent money on Johnson. We spent money on all of these wingers, all of these forwards. None of them are as good as Son, who is going that way now in his career. Not in a bad way. He's just getting older. So for me, I don't think they can sell him until we actually have a desire to go and buy somebody that really changes the game. I get it. I don't necessarily disagree, but if we sold him right now, I really don't think we've bought well enough to go on, take his place. Don't think we have.
Okay, for me, this window has been, I give it a 3 out of 10 because we haven't improved anywhere in the first 11, except the striking position with Dominic Solanke, who I have my doubts on, first of all. And that manager Levy has given him over 400 million. So he has to win a trophy this season. I don't care where we finish. We finished 17th. I don't care. I just want a trophy. It's been 18 years or 16. I don't even know, bro. Like, I just want a trophy. Doesn't give a trophy, I want him out of this football club. Out. There's no way you can spend the most money across 12 months or 14 and not improving anywhere. Okay, those are players you wanted to sign that they actually fit the system, right? So those players, you should be winning something with them because it's the one that bought them. And there's no excuse this time. No excuses.
I'm going to respectfully disagree with you here. I don't think he has to win something this year. I don't think we're good enough to win something this year. Can we win a cup? Cups are, it's the luck of the draw. But eventually in the cups, you're going to play Arsenal. You're going to play City. You're going to play Liverpool. And unfortunately, I think these three teams at the moment are just so far above us. I've watched all three of them this weekend. They are all so much better than us that it's painful, if we're going to be brutally honest. I watched Liverpool today. Everyone, without Klopp, they're going to be dreadful. The football they played was brilliant today. So, look, we'll see. If he wins a trophy, he's exceeded my expectations. I don't think he will, but he keeps talking about winning trophies, right? So he's put a lot of pressure on himself. So listen, dude, thanks so much for coming on. I do have other guests, but thank you very much. And you're always welcome on.
Thank you.
Yep. Take care, man. Bye-bye. John has said, why can't we beat Arsenal? We did it last year. No one's saying we can't. I just don't think we will. And when you're saying we did it last year, did we do it last year? Did we beat Arsenal last year? We didn't beat Arsenal last year. I think we drew with them and then they beat us at our ground, right? So I'm not really sure that this is true. Listen, as I said, for the people that are having a pop in the chat, you're welcome to come on. Big up, Hasper. How you doing, bro?
Hey,
Long time
man. Yeah, I've been all right. I just want to talk about, first of all, the club as the whole, where we've been 20 years ago and now. And then I'm going to touch on Ange. So that's the two things I want to talk about mainly. So first, I'm going to go back to 2005, right? So in 2005, Martin Jol was the manager. Yeah. And we signed players like Reto Ziegler, Dorian Derviet, Adel Taarabt, and I'm just listening to some names. There's context to this. So they're all young players. And I remember Joel saying back then, we're signing young players for the future, blah, blah, blah. But that was 20 years ago, okay? We're going into 2024 now, right? We're in a £1 billion stadium, this amazing training ground, supposedly. We're getting all this massive income, and we're doing exactly the same thing, except also got Bergval, Gray, all these other names. Yeah. So when you deep it, and we're probably in the same position in terms of league position, we're probably not going to finish in top 4, maybe 5th, 6th, let's say. So has the club really, really that improved under Daniel Levy if we're sitting here 20 years later and we're in the same position we were 20 years ago?
Look, by the way, Gary, sorry, just quickly Gary, I am going to remove you from the show unless you come on for what you said earlier. I'm going to remove you unless you are in my back, in the back office of StreamYard in the next 2 minutes, ready to come on. You are being removed, mate. You can't talk to me like a piece of shit and then still continue in my chat. So either come on or you're getting blocked. Yeah, it has. Look, I suppose that it's the definition of what is better, right? I mean, I saw somebody put out a great post the other day on YouTube saying, look, this was Spurs in 2005 under Martin Jol. And then they said, this is Spurs now. And it was like identical. And it was like in all that 20 years, in those 20 seasons, yeah, we've had a second, a third, fourths, fifths, we've had sixths, we've had sevenths, we've had eights, all scattered about. Won one League Cup in that time. Still, I don't know what's really changed. I'm not saying it's bad. By the way, I don't think it's doom and gloom. We're not getting relegated. We're always going to get European football.
Exactly. I'm not saying we're going to get relegated, but nothing's really changed. I don't know
what.
Really changed.
I don't know what.
And the reason I say this is because I see a lot of people comparing, say, like Ange to Poch, for example, or we're going to be like under Poch. And it's just like, to me, just blind hope or blind faith. And obviously, we beat Everton and our community, I'm not saying everyone, suddenly they're like gushing, oh, we won 4-0, this player was good, this player was good. And look, like you said in your comments, that, oh, you're in the mud because we beat Everton 4-0. I'm and it's like, we just beat a team that's probably going to get relegated. Like, for me, I'm going to judge us based on like the next 2-3 games to see if like there's any difference. And this is why I get onto Ange, because with Ange, I just don't feel there's any adaptability at all in the way he does things. I think if we go to Newcastle and play exactly how we did last season, it's going to be the same result. I'd actually praise him if we went there and did like a low block, or at least pushed it back like 5-6 yards. Just do something different.
I agree.
And it's like, I just don't think we're going to see it. And I think that's going to be his undoing. I don't think he'll be here maybe after Christmas. He might go after Christmas, but I just think people are just blowing smoke up his ass for like no reason. I don't see it with him. And I'm normally really defensive, the manager, right? But when I watch us play, it's just we're so open.
Yeah, look, we've known each other for years now. You know my faults. Look, I don't dislike Ange. I'm not a fan of his style. I think his style blows away the weaker teams. I think his style against the better teams, for me, I think they'll pick it off. We've witnessed it. Look at the second half of last season. I showed all the stats and facts the other day on my channel. They don't lie. 9 months worth of facts don't lie. Teams scored against us last season for fun. We'll see if it's changed this year. We'll see. We'll see if it's changed.
I'd love to be on Sunday night to see us actually like do something different, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I just think he's so stubborn. He's so stuck in his ways.
Agreed.
And it's just, I just don't think we're going to see anything different. So yeah,
mate, I agree.
I don't know.
I think the last thing I'll say is I think the Newcastle game, look, I think it's a good time to be playing Newcastle. They've got a lot of injuries at the back. I think it's a great time to be playing them, but Newcastle at Newcastle is always tough. So, we'll see. But listen, dude, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Take care, man.
All right, man.
Okay.
Take care, bro.
Yeah,
bye-bye. Big up. Let me just address a few comments, and then I'm going to bring on Ange the Goat, then Safe, then it's Paul, then it's Billy, then it's Ryan. By the way, first of all, David Durrell, I'm seeing a lot of your comments in the chat. David, this is your chance. And again, David, listen, we were good yesterday. We were good. I don't think I've said anything different. We absolutely pinned them in for 90 minutes. Even City can't do that. That's where I stopped reading your silly comment. Even City, the best team in the world, can't pin teams in. Have a day off. Where are we? Sorry, just a couple of comments that I just thought were absolutely ridiculous. Big up to DJ Riot. Again, yeah, this is what makes me laugh, dude, right? For all the people who hate me. Yeah, so in 2015, myself and 2 other people cycled the entire country in 12 days, 11 nights, 12 days. We cycled over 1,500 miles, over 150 miles a day to raise money for a little boy that needed an operation that couldn't walk. But don't get me wrong, DJ Riot, I'm a terrible human being that should go and die of cancer. So it is what it is, DJ. Thank you very much for your kind comment. Big up to, we've got, big up, bro. How you doing? Hope you're well, Paul. Hope you're well. Who else? We've got Philip Randall in the chat. Big up. Hope you're well. John, stop calling everyone a clown, please. It's getting really, really silly. Isis Don, when did Seven come back? I thought he was forced into retirement. Never forced in retirement. I didn't racially abuse Sam. People like you will be blocked if you keep lying. I didn't racially abuse Sam. absolutely pathetic. And Sam and I have spoken loads since then. Stop being stupid. Guys, girls, you're welcome to come on. Yeah. You're welcome to come on. John, you troll. You're welcome to come on. I bet you don't, and I bet you shit your pants. Who we got? Ange the Goat. I can't call you Ange the Goat, so what is your name? You're on mute. You're on mute. Can't hear, man. Can't hear. I haven't got you at all. Speak.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me? Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Can you hear
I've
me
got
now?
you, man. I've got you. What's your name?
Ben.
Ben, nice to meet you. Ange the Goat. I can see where this is going to go already.
Well, okay. So I think like my point is going to be in contrast to the previous previous guy you had on.
Sure.
I feel like a lot of fans they've got a misconception of Ange as a manager and what he does. So a lot of people are basing him off the first 9 months. And I think what happened last season was the first 10 games where he basically went 8 wins and 2 draws kind of was actually his biggest downfall because people have shifted unrealistic expectations of him. A bad first season is actually perfectly normal for Ange. And, as we saw, because when Ange signed for Tottenham, I looked at his past record, I looked at his record for Celtic, Brisbane and Yokohama. And what I've seen from him is his second seasons are astronomically better than the first. And including the players' performances, they're a lot better than the first as well. So I feel like when I see fans going, oh, he'll never improve, he'll never change, I feel like it's, to me, is very, very much doom-mongering, very much fear. And, I feel like, every manager should at least be given 2 seasons before we have such sweeping statements of them. In terms of his signings, I feel like last season's signings, I feel like most of them were positive. Van der Ven, Vicario and Maddison definitely improved the squad. And I would admit that I feel like Brennan Johnson was a complete bust. I don't think he's good enough to play Ange. I don't think he's good enough for a team that is aiming to win things like I hope Tottenham are. Mm-hmm. So, and I feel like one thing I would criticise him, Ange, and I'd admit that is he's quite stubborn, which is why I think like Brennan Johnson's playing all these games, I hope that he finally gives up hope on him. So I can't deny that. But when I'm seeing this year, whilst we haven't signed a lot of players, the signings of Solanke and Odegaard are like Ange players to a T. Odegaard, one thing he can do is beat a man and he can attack. And that is the kind of player that I feel like if you look at Ange's system, is vital to play Ange ball. And Solanke, he presses, he runs, and he does score a bag full of goals. So I feel like, against Everton and against Leicester, the problem, we did attack, we did have a lot of chances, and whilst we didn't win against Leicester, I feel like the problem wasn't on Ange. It was just the poor finishing, the poor mistake from individual players, and the defending for the Leicester goal was criminal. And against Everton, I feel like when we did finish our chances, we did destroy them. So,
look, you've got some valid points. Look, I don't disagree with you in essence. I think the difficulty is, look, yes, does a manager need a second season? Sure, but I think the point that a lot of people are making, and it's very difficult because at the moment we've played 2 really poor teams. Let's be brutally honest. At the moment we've played Everton and Leicester City. Both will be in a relegation battle. One of them will definitely go down, if not both of them, right? So at the moment it's very difficult to say about has he changed. For me, I think the worrying thing for me, Ben, is that from the first 10 games, and I always say from that first 10 games, because when things are going well, it's easy to say, oh my God, the football's brilliant, and look at this style of play, blah, blah, blah. When things don't go well, when teams start to figure you out, when you start conceding loads of goals, when teams have really worked out, you know what, we know how to get us, Spurs, that for me is when you look at a manager and go, okay, what have I got? Can I change it up? Can I mix things about? The problem is, since then, he's had 30 Premier League games, exactly after yesterday, to change things. And I think some fans are sitting there going, has he changed anything? Did he attempt to change anything? Because the form in the second half of last season, Ben, it wasn't that it was his first season. But had it have gone like that, had we have seen that the players were getting better in his style, that any of the stats towards the second half of the season were getting better, I think you would turn around and go, I like that. He changes things and he's tweaked. But what we saw was second half of the season, we went like that. We did a nosedive. So look, of course, he's not going anywhere. I'm not sitting here saying get the man out of the football club, but we will find out in the next 10, 15 games when we've played everybody. Sorry, in the next 17 games, when we've played everybody, when he's played the big teams that have the top wingers, when he's played the powerful clubs, we will see, has he done anything to make us harder to beat or not? And from what I saw against Leicester was truly worrying from the point of view that Leicester, after 45 minutes, realised very quickly this is a one-trick pony and we can get in behind them, right? So can he change things? Of course he can. Will he? We'll see. We'll see, won't we?
Oh, so can I come back on that?
Sure, yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah, so I think like part of the problem was like the back end of last season where we had a hard run, we were playing like the toughest teams in the league and the best teams in the league. So like, you know, teams like Man City, Liverpool and Arsenal were like 3 games in a row. And I feel like, you know, against Liverpool and Arsenal, we were poor, but against Man City, we did see some improvement in that game alone. I know we lost the game, but we went not quite toe to toe to them. We went relatively close. We didn't look like, you know, like a minnow team. We actually looked quite good. And I feel like against Leicester, to counter your point, I feel like, again, and a lot of the mistakes, a lot of people attribute them.
Yeah, go on, but sorry, I'm talking to someone in the chat. Go on, you're good.
Okay. A lot of them attribute them to the high line, but a lot of the problem was, especially last season, was defence from set pieces, and also from the fact that players constantly clumsily giving the ball away, which leads to more chances. And I feel like if players could keep the ball more and didn't make these silly mistakes, then the error, then you know the supposed deficiencies wouldn't become so apparent, and we wouldn't be broken down as easily as.
But the counter to that is, these players will keep giving the ball away and making silly mistakes because of the caliber of the footballers, right? So this is the thing. As a football manager, surely you go into the club and go, what are my players capable of? Now, if you want to try and play all-out football, which is this style of play needs us to dominate for 90 minutes. It means that we have to have complete possession, complete control to dominate. Now, against Everton, I mean, they have not, they're awful. Yeah, against Everton, you're going to have all the football, right? When you play better teams, that's not going to happen. And unfortunately, if you want players that are completely competent on the ball and that aren't going to make mistakes, you have to buy footballers that are competent on the ball and are not going to make mistakes. Unfortunately, when you're saying, oh, Solanke is I hate this saying, Ange player. I don't know really what this means, an Ange player, but look, he will live and die in footballing terms by his signings, right? What we can't do, though, Ben, is all the people that have absolutely bigged up Odegaard, Solanke, Bergvall, Gray, all these people that are bigging up Johnson, all these signings, if it starts to go wrong, and if we don't do better than last season, at some point they're going to have to turn around and go, well, maybe they weren't good enough.
So I feel like if you look at the signings we've made, like especially Bergvall and Gray, I feel like we are signing for like 2 or 3 years from now. I feel like Bergvall and Gray are not the finished product, but you know, I feel like they have got like bags of potential. Like Bergvall especially he's got something. He's got quality players in him. But I feel like I do agree though that certain fans have kind of put so much pressure on Ange where they kind of act like he's perfect. So like you mentioned Brennan Johnson, who I admit myself was a poor signing on Ange's behalf.
Awful signing on
Ange's behalf. And the reality is of the situation, there is even the great minds of any sport get things wrong. They get things wrong. You know, they get a player wrong, they get a signing wrong. But if you like big up a man so much, you know, as soon as he gets something wrong, the kind of people that are more skeptical are going to like put a laser beam on them and say, well, maybe he's not that good after all. But I feel like, you know, in terms of Tottenham Hotspur, I don't feel like in terms of like having a football club that's successful and have running thing, I don't think that's a perfect formula to getting it right. I've seen like, you know, for example, and this is an NFL example, I saw New England Patriots build like a dynasty over Tom Brady, who they got like in the 6th round of the NFL draft. You know, so I feel like. You know,
but Ben, can I say, sorry? First of all, your sound's completely dipping out, right?
Oh, sorry.
Your sound's completely dipping. But can I just say, look, a couple of things that you've said there, and then I really do need to get the next people on. Look, first of all, you said, but you've done what everyone does. But at the back end of last season is when we played all the good teams. But Ange's bad run of form wasn't just when we played Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City. Ange's bad run of form was 30 games from the end of October, beginning of November to now, right? That was the range. So in that time, we played everybody, right? So it wasn't just that we lost to. Listen, I don't expect Spurs every season to be beating all the big clubs. I don't. These clubs for me are superior to Tottenham. And to your point there, you can build whatever you want. You can bring in these players for 2-3 years' time. Look at what Arsenal are bringing in. Look at what City are bringing in. These clubs are not bringing in players for 3 years' time. Man City this window have gone and got Savio, who is absolutely superb now. Yeah, they've gone and got Gundogan on a free. I mean, on a free transfer, it's an absolute no-brainer. He's ready right now, right? Liverpool, granted, haven't bought anyone and are still miles better than us. And Arsenal are bringing in people who are ready to go in straight away with international experience. We're buying 18-year-olds, and it's all well and good people saying they could be good, but it is always, Ben, potential. And I've been a Spurs fan for 41 years, and I'm just getting really bored of potential. You'll see, we'll see. And everyone apparently is an expert on what Ange does from season 2 to 3 to 4. I just don't know why everyone's an Ange expert when he's never done it at a big club. That's what I don't get.
So if you want to bring up the Ange point, I mean, we have signed him based on we appointed him as manager based on what he did in the past and what he won at the past. So the only thing we can do is look at his record, evaluate his career properly, listen to sources that have followed him, and listen to what they thought, what he does best, and we should follow his trajectory. And if we followed his trajectory, it would be in my mind, pretty unreasonable to not at least use that as a template to think what is he going to do at the first season as Tottenham Hotspur, for example.
Yeah, but it's a template at really lower level leagues, my friend. This is the difference. He's not used to
so the lower level thing. I feel he has to be minded though that he also has limited players relative to the budget. And the example I always use is, who would you be more impressed with? A general that has a 10,000 strong army and defeats a fellow 10,000 strong army, or a general that has an 80,000 strong army and defeats a 60,000 strong army? Relatively speaking, the A League and the J League are very, very competitive between all the teams. And it's not you can basically just outspend your opponent. So I feel
sure, but Ben, this is the Premier League, right? You can talk to me about the Scottish League, you can talk to me about the K League, you can talk to me about all these leagues. The difference is Tottenham at the moment are absolutely miles away from the big three. Do you agree with that?
I mean, I would 100% agree with that, and I would even say that in terms of quality,
how do we close that gap? It's not by buying Bergvall, Gray, Odegaard. It isn't.
Well,
whatever
you're saying it like Bergvall and Gray are just basically at this level. I'm going to at a certain level. I'm going to stay there. They can improve as players. There's you can't just for example, Barcelona's dynasty. A lot of those players were in the academy and grew. You don't actually necessarily have to buy 100 million on Osimhen or Mbappe. Yeah,
but Ben, again, right? I look with all due respect, when you're going to start chucking in Barcelona's dynasty, hang on, Barcelona brought through some of the best young players in world football from their academy to play with people like Deco, Ronaldinho, Puyol, Xavi, David Villa, Eto'o, Ibrahimovic, Henry. We're bringing in youngsters to play alongside who? Basuma, who is hit and miss, Bentancur, who is hit and miss. Listen, I am not saying they won't ever progress past this, but the problem is, Ben, I don't know how long you've supported Spurs for. I've supported them for a bloody long time. And I've heard this argument about young players that will all come good and this is how we're going to catch up. This has never worked before. It's not going to work now. You can bring in as many good young players as you want. They won't all grow at the same level, right? One of them might turn out to be world-class, like a Bergvall. And the problem with that is if he grows to be world-class, in 2 years' time, someone bigger will come along and go, we'll have you. You know why? Because Spurs aren't winning anything. Spurs haven't put any top players around him. Yeah. So what it is, he becomes a really good young player in a team that doesn't actually win anything or challenge. So whilst people are waiting and asking for patience, patience, youth team, projects. Great. Players don't give a shit. Players go, yeah, Bayern Munich have bid for me. Real Madrid have bid for me. Man City have bid for me. Tottenham aren't winning jack shit. I'm going over there. And this is the problem. Everybody talks about these youngsters as though they're all going to come through and suddenly compete with City and Arsenal and Liverpool, while these guys are buying players for now. Huge difference, mate, in my opinion.
But like, okay, so like, fine, like you're saying that these players are playing for now, but like you use Arsenal as an example. They haven't won a single trophy in the last 4 years.
Sure.
For example, I know we haven't won one in like 17 years.
Sure.
But you know, I've also found this myth that, you know, like if you sign like a big player also doesn't necessarily mean they're automatically going to improve your squad. There are teams that have, like, for example, our most expensive signing is on Ndombele, and look how bad he was. So
no. Hang on. It's not just about spending big money. You've got to buy the quality players to go with that big money. And Ben, you've undone your own point in your first 2 points you made there, right? Let's rework your points. Right.
Okay.
Your first point. And by the way, Safe, you will be on in a minute, my man. First and foremost, you've turned around there at the beginning and said, "Oh, but Arsenal haven't won anything for 4 years." Arsenal are a million miles better than Tottenham and still can't win anything. Right?
Oh, but
Hang on, and still can't win anything. I'm not saying they can't this year, but they still haven't, and they are superior to us in goal, in defence, in midfield, in attack, right? So we're saying them with their top players can't win anything, but we're now saying, don't worry, because we're signing loads of kids that will win things. How? If even Arsenal, after buying, I mean, let's be fair, Ben, look at Arsenal's team. Do any of our players truly, really get into Arsenal's team? They are solid. They are all over the park. That team is ridiculous. They are bringing on people like Trossard. We are starting players like Brennan Johnson. The levels are here and there. We're buying Bergvall and Gray. They're buying Thomas Partey and Declan Rice and now Mikel Merino. It's there and there, but everyone seems to think that this youth fruit is all of a sudden going to win things when it never, ever, 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 ever has.
So, okay, so just a couple of points. So you say, you know, I mean, obviously you mentioned Arsenal have never won anything. There's they've not, you know, they've been close in the Premier League, but they've never won in like the EFL Cup or the Europa League when they win it, or the Champions League. And I feel like there is a lot, you know, there's also a thing, in my opinion, with footballers, which is called like a big game mentality. There are certain players that could be brilliant for the rest of the season and just not turn up in the big games. And I feel like that is what Tottenham have lacked in the past season. So I feel like, you know, you're saying, oh, they've never won anything. They've, you know, it's not necessarily always just quite in terms of getting over the line, in terms of winning trophies. It's not always necessarily about winning, like having the absolute best players. It's also about like team mentality and also having a clutch gene as well at the same time.
But you've got to have class
disagree
as well.
with you saying you cannot win with like bringing players in from the academy. When I've seen like not just football but lots of sports where basically
No, but I'm
teams
not talking
have
about other
basically
sports.
built teams around it.
We're talking about football and the Premier League. I don't want to hear examples of where it worked in NFL or ice hockey. I'm talking about.
But it's still sports, and it's still about like winning mentality, though.
No. You can have all the winning mentality you want. Yeah, Spurs players right now could have the best winning mentality in the league. We are still not better than Man City's quality. There's a huge difference. Man City have quality all over the pitch, all over the bench, and you know what they've also got? Their winning mentality is ridiculous. Do you know what they've also got? Their manager's winning mentality is through the roof. Do you know what they've also got? They've got a director of football who knows what he's looking for and is on the same page as his manager, right? You now look at Spurs, right? Spurs, we don't sign that winning mentality. We've signed kids. Kids can't have winning mentality yet because they've not done it. They've not been there, seen it and done it, right? This is the thing. Are you telling me seriously that this... if we keep doing what we're doing here, signing Odegaard, I'm not knocking them, signing Odegaard at 19, Bergvall at 18, Gray at 18. If we keep doing this, How many years do you think it's going to take for us to catch Man City and Arsenal and Liverpool when they're this good?
So that's, you're asking me a difficult question because it's hard to put a time on things.
Of course, it's hard to put a time. It's not going to happen.
Like, I mean, realistically, that's all about like how that's about how the manager gives time. But there's so many factors that can affect that it's impossible to answer that question. It's about scouting as well.
But why is it impossible? You're sitting there arguing for it. So why is it impossible? You're arguing that it's going to work. When?
Yeah. When is it going to work? I don't know. Like, I feel like, realistically speaking, if I'm looking at the examples I've seen pass in the NFL and the NBA, it would be like 2 or 3 years' time if we lose that model.
Football. I'm not here to talk about the NBA. I don't give, no offense, my friend, I don't give a monkeys about the NFL or NBA. I'm talking about catching City, Arsenal, and Liverpool. I don't care about other sports. How many years are we going to have to buy 18, 19-year-olds to catch those clubs who will keep buying top players during that time?
I can't really put
you know why you can't.
But
you know why you can't? Because it ain't happening. You know it's not happening, Ben. You're having a laugh at me. You know it's not happening. You know this process isn't.
No, I disagree with that because, Because can I think when I look at Bergvall and looking great, I always ask the question: do they have the potential to become like players that I would say are good enough to title challenge? The answer to that question would be yes. For example, now basically, if you're saying keep signing these 18 and 19-year-olds, we also signed Solanke that basically is not an 18-year-old and has scored 20 goals last season, although lots of people are unconvinced with him. I'm not saying we should always buy 18 and 19-year-olds, but the answer to say that basically 18 or 19-year-olds, not remove them, let's just buy lots and lots and lots of basically 80 million pounds players that have done it in a different league. I feel like that strategy is equally as flawed.
Yeah, but the thing is, Ben, do you know what? Whenever I debate with people, that have the opinion that you have, and by the way, I think this has been nice and respectable, right? I think before anyone says I've bullied or been horrible. Look, whenever I debate this type of argument, the key thing for me is straight away, you've just gone to what everyone goes to. 80, 90 million pound players. No one said we have to buy 80, 90 million pound players. But we don't buy the best players from the next bracket down. We go straight to the kids. Now, yeah, Solanke is the one that is not a kid. But Ben, look, if I can put this on the screen, everyone's seen it. This is what we do in transfer windows, right? Now, I'm not saying Gray, Bergvall, Odegaard, and Yang. I don't know. Sod's Law says one of them's going to be quality. Brilliant. 2 will probably have very good careers in football, and one of them will probably end up floating around the bottom half of the Premier League Championship. That's kind of what happens with youngsters, right? I'm not doubting that. But you're telling me the best we could buy in the whole of world football, Ben, the best player we've signed all summer that is over the age of 20, the best player we've signed to strengthen our squad that is not a teenager is Dominic Solanke. And then people want to tell me that this process is going to catch up the big clubs. It doesn't make sense. You can't
just judge players on their names. You're not acting like basically back in the day, lots of fans were arguing, especially Chelsea fans were arguing they would rather Veron over Lampard, for example, and basically Veron ended up being total bust and Lampard ended up being a total success.
But I'm not talking about Verons.
Because you have to look at when you're discussing transfers, you have to just look at basically past successes, past failures, past strategies, past successes, and basically see which ones would be best for you. Now, I feel like basically saying, oh, this guy is a big name, he's going to be excellent. This guy's done it previously is also.
I've never said big name, have I?
Ben, not big name, but for example, you were arguing for Nicholas Fulkrug.
No. Put the context in when I said about Nicholas Fulkrug. At the time, Spurs hadn't signed a striker, and I said it's embarrassing that West Ham have gone out and bought a striker that immediately makes them better, and we haven't. And I don't think Solanke immediately makes us much better.
But so you're very critical of Timo Werner, for example.
Yeah, because he's shit. Yeah.
Okay, but when he was basically originally signed for Chelsea for Leipzig, people were hyping it up like he was the best second coming, and you're
5 years
acting
ago.
like these lots of these. Like,
But Ben, this is the thing. Do you know what? You're saying things that I've not said. Ben, if anyone listens to my channels, right, all I get every time, once this show finishes, what will happen is, I can tell you right now, Ben, what will happen, and I can take as many screenshots as I like, and hang on there in the background, by the way, because I can go and do these shows all night. And smash the like button as well, please, people. You have been really tight on this. I am offering a show here to allow every fan on the internet to come on and talk football. And I've only got 170 likes, not one super chat. I'm not asking for your money, but surely I can get likes, right? If I can't, defeats the point of doing this. And we've not had one subscriber, not one subscriber, not one super chat, and only 170 likes. Guys, make this worth my while by liking and subscribing. It's free. I'm not asking for your money. Ben, what will happen is I'll get off this. Oh, Sava thinks we can sign world-class players. Sava's never said that. Sava is adamant that we can't sign world-class players. What I've said is we're going out and scouting Brennan Johnsons. West Ham are going out and scouting Mohamed Kudus. Right? Look at the difference in. That's just an example of two players who both play on the wing. Look at the level of footballer that West Ham have attracted, and look what our scouts have gone on out there and bought. Right?
but okay,
That's
so like I feel like the Brennan Johnson one I've already admitted was a mistake, and I feel like it's kind of like lazy analysis to cherry pick players like that.
Hang on. Okay, do you want me to go through? I could do every player in the squad.
Every player in the squad. I mean, you're acting like we didn't finish. Okay, I know you might, but we did finish 5th last year. And we did.
And that's fine.
So
But how many times have I seen this, Ben? How many times when fans go, we finished 5th? So what? Who cares? So what? What is 5th meaning to me? I've seen Spurs win European trophies, my friend. I've seen Spurs lift FA Cups. Finishing 5th in the league is not, when people talk about this like it's a badge of honour. We finished 5th, yeah? And what? Who cares? Ben, the point is, we went out in the window. We scouted. We apparently couldn't find one winger to bring in on loan or on a free transfer better than Timo Werner. The year before, we couldn't find anyone better in the world of football than Brennan Johnson, right? The best young striker in the world we could find at 15 million was Valise, right? The best young centre-back we could find was Ashley Phillips, that the manager has sent out on 2 loans and not given him a minute of time when we've had all of our centre-backs out injured. I could play this game all day long. We went and bought Manor Solomon, right? This is what we do, and we've done it again this window. Some of these kids, I've got no doubt, will turn out, as I said, to be very good. But if you keep doing what we're doing, we will maintain being a European football club. I've got no doubt about that. It's not doom and gloom. But we have done, name me one thing we've done this window to close the gap to the big 3. I will wait. One thing.
Do you want me to name one?
No, what?
Okay, well, for example, like last year, I feel like, we didn't have a proper striker, and now we've got one in Dominic Solanke. That's an instant improvement.
Who played up front last season?
Well, it was kind of a mix between Richarlison and Son.
Okay, so when Son played up front, how many goals did Son score up front?
I get it. I don't have an exact number.
17. How many goals did Richarlison score when he played up front?
11. Again,
right.
I don't have an exact number.
Right, 11. So 11? Between the 2 people that played up front, we had a 30-goal season striker there, 28-goal season striker there. So for me, does Solanke coming in automatically make us go, oh my God, that is, wow,
I feel like, basically having Solanke there means we can push that, Son would be on the wing and he would still basically be scoring a lot of goals from there, for example. So it's not like, Son's goal scoring is going to be abolished. And also I feel like, in Richarlison, Solanke, not just goals, offers just so much more in terms of Richarlison, in terms of just his overall just quality as a footballer.
Okay, can I counter that then?
Go on.
If that's true, why is it when you compare all their Premier League stats, Solanke's are all worse than Richarlison's?
I mean, if you look at their improvement and their trajectory, Solanke's is a lot better than Richarlison's. Looking at just overall, you're acting like players just cannot improve, and it's just like
no. I'm not acting like players can't improve. But this is a guy that's had one good year. And by the way, their ratio last year, Richarlison's ratio kicked Solanke's ratio's arse. And I don't even rate Richarlison. Richarlison got 11 goals in something like 1,700 minutes. Solanke got 19 in like 3,500 minutes.
You have to remember, though, that Richarlison's was just a pure purple patch. That was all his goals.
But do you see what I mean here? So what we're saying here, Ben, is when I said to you, name one thing we've done that takes us from here to really close the gap with a big three. And if the answer is Solanke, a guy who's had one good year in his career at the age of 26, 27, is that really closing the gap on the big three? Really?
But you say like one good year, like it was like 5 years ago when it was just the past season, and you're
sure,
not.
But that doesn't make my fact wrong. That doesn't make my fact wrong.
Yeah, but you'll be, contexts are important in facts as well, and basically the most important fact is if you look at his overall career, there's no reason to suggest that basically he's going to decline this year. I'm
not saying he's going to decline, but listen, Ben, the thing is this, what I don't feel like fans, this is what I think Levy has everyone whipped in their minds, right? And apologies anybody waiting, but sorry, this is a good conversation, right? The difference is, right? The difference here is for me, I'm not saying Solanke's a bad footballer. So that's not the point of this conversation, because I know that people in the chat who don't listen will think that. People like Cam, they don't get it, right? They don't get it. He's not listening, right? Not listening. My point is, Solanke might be a good footballer, but to close the gap with the big three, I don't think this is a signing that closes the gap. And if we're not closing the gap, we're not getting better. That's where I'm getting it from, Ben. So again, when people sit here and go, look what we've done this window. I showed you the summer window we've had, right? I've showed you how far behind the big three we are in every metric. I don't even need to bring up stats and facts for that. We all know, right? And then people go, yeah, but we bought Solanke and that closes the gap. In what world does that close the gap to the big clubs? I just don't get it.
Well, obviously you mentioned before that, Liverpool have signed absolutely no one, and they haven't signed anyone now or for the future. I feel like and I feel like Bergvall and Gray and Odegaard are all question marks whether they improve that team. Personally, sure. I thought Odegaard looked good against Everton, and again, I feel like one thing he does do is take a man on and beat them. So again, and I feel
not very successfully does he beat them, but he does try and take them on. That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And what we lacked as a team, and I think especially last year, was I feel like we had a lack of intent up front at times last year. We had a lack of, commitment to up front, especially towards the end of last year. I was getting so frustrated with players refusing to shoot or refusing to take their men on. So if we're going to sign a player more ambitious, more industrious players like Odegaard, or even a Bergvall, who I feel like very good in pre-season and looked at least tidy.
Two kids that have never done anything in football yet.
I feel like, those things, maybe not now, but, 1 year, 2 years would close the gap.
1 second. Just quickly, John, that's not what I said. You've got one last chance. I will block you. It's getting silly. I've not once said that I think Solanke's bad. You've got to grow up, right? And David, I will control my mods if you come on. You come on, you have a pop at me at every turn, mate, and don't have the balls to come on. Ben disagrees with me, comes on, we have the chat. Grow a pair, come on, we'll have the chat, right? Ben, the last thing I'm going to say is this. Every answer you've given me as to why we've closed the gap is what everybody does who loves this process. It's a lot of feelings and hope. There's no facts to show that we've closed any gap. We have not signed one player. For me, what I would say is, have we signed a player that Arsenal, Liverpool, or City will look at and go, oh, Spurs are serious. Spurs are serious. We would have had that player.
To answer that question, honestly, no.
Right. So, Ben, this is my point. If Arsenal, Liverpool, and City are going, oh, yeah, right? If they're looking, their managers are going to say nice stuff about Spurs in press conferences and all. Ange's teams are always difficult to play against. They're not buying Solanke. They could have all bought Solanke. None of them are going to buy Dominic Solanke. Let's tell the truth. None of them are buying Dominic Solanke. They're busy buying proper players that are seasoned pros that have been there, seen it, and done it. None of them are buying Odegaards. None of them are buying Bergvalls and Grays. Now, it's not that. in 2 years, Bergvall and Gray might be good. My point as a fan is not where are we in 2-3 years. It's what are we doing now to improve on last year? Then if we improve, we can go, what are we doing next year to improve? I just don't see what we're improving. And I've been a fan for so many years, and I had this chat so many years in a row. And so far I'm waiting for, like when that guy said the mudding will be brilliant. Dude, do you know how much mud I'm owed? Do you know how much mud I'm waiting for somebody to mud me? And the problem is the people that call me negative can't actually ever say where I've been wrong about the club. It's hope, it's passion. I love it. It's great. Unfortunately, my hope and passion ran out when I saw these type of processes years and years and years ago when it never worked. And now we're trying to do it all again and thinking a manager with no experience of this can make it work. Look, Ben, if you want to catch up with the big boys, you've got to start buying players. And if Spurs had signed Odegaard, Gray and Bergvall, as well as a top midfielder, a top winger and a top centre forward, I am sitting here right now agreeing with you saying, yeah, love that. But we've not. We've signed not one of the things we needed this window apart from kids. All we've signed is kids. It's not, we're shopping. We're shopping in the same supermarket as Palace, as Fulham, as Brentford. We're buying players that those clubs could get.
Well, I mean, I don't really disagree with you that you could get those players, but just because they could get them and just because they would sign for them doesn't necessarily, again, like I've said before, mean that they won't go on to do big things. And
I didn't say they can't. Didn't say they can't.
No, but no, and again,
you can't give me a time frame. No one in the chat can actually say, do you know what? Ange's process is going to work by the season 26, 27, 25, 26. No one can say it. You know why? Because none of you are confident enough that you actually believe in what you're saying. You're saying nice things. That's great. But there's no end goal.
Can I counter that? I would say that as someone that, did do a proper, research on Ange, I would say that I feel like Ange is good enough to basically do those things you're describing. Would I say though that, pardon?
Based on what is he good enough to do it?
Based on what? Based on, again, his past record. I know you're going to say, oh, it's a weaker league, but again, he can only beat what is in front of him, and he can
What's
only
his
work
longest tenure at a club? What's his longest tenure at a club?
Well, I think probably like 2 or 3 years.
Right. Okay. You've just summed it up for me. So Ange hasn't actually got any previous in taking 5-6 years to go and build and challenge the best clubs in the league.
With all due respect, it's because he's won everything after his second year. So he's already gone off to the next bigger stage because he's already won it. That's
yes,
to say that he's just going to abandon
Man
his ship.
City, Arsenal and Liverpool, Ben. This is the problem. He's in leagues where he's not facing these clubs. To catch these big clubs is not the same as catching who he's caught before. The gap from whatever league he was in, let's be fair, there was no gap in Scotland.
Oh, no. That's not true at all. There was a 25 gap point. Rangers were 25 points ahead of Celtic in the previous season. And every single Celtic fan out there said it's going to take us at least 2 or 3 years to actually even catch up to them because they were so far behind. Ange in his first season won the Scottish Premier League. So let's not act like Ange's achievements have been easy or anyone can do it. He's consistently surpassed expectations.
Steven Gerrard went to Scotland and won.
That's a falsehood. Gerrard won 1 Scottish Premier League out of 3. Ange won 2 in 2. Ange's record is so much better.
Of course, he had the best squad. Of course, he won 2 in 2. No offense.
But no, that's not what fans were saying at the time, though. That's not what fans were saying, that Rangers were definitely going to win the league.
So Brendan Rodgers isn't going to win 2 in 2 now with this Celtic team. Should we get Brendan Rodgers?
What do you mean, the team that Ange built, that he basically worked, that he made worse? I feel like,
Dude, I'm going to leave it there, right? But the problem is here. What Ange needs to build to challenge one team in Scotland versus what he needs to catch Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool. We're talking about Harrods versus Lidl here. Harrods versus Lidl. Unfortunately, everyone's talking as though the Premier League is a really easy league to catch up. And as we said, Arsenal have spent how many years trying to catch up and can't even wrestle it off of City. But we think that signing kids is going to do that when Arsenal have signed quality footballers all over the park. I just don't get. I don't get what you're seeing that I'm not. I hope you're right. I hope I'm wrong. But I've heard this for about 20 years. Wait till all these youth players come good. It's going to be different. It's going to, all of a sudden, Ange is our hero. Ange is our savior. I just can't get it. But look, dude, the other guys have been really patient. By the way, I'm only accepting Spurs fans on. If you are not a Spurs fan, I'm so sorry. I will not have you on tonight. I will do another show throughout the season. Sorry, dude. Sorry. But Ben, thank you so much for coming on. Really enjoyed the chat. Lovely to have a chat with someone without actually being called a twat or a prick or whatever. So thank you very much. And listen, I hope for your sake that you're right and I'm wrong. All right?
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Cheers.
See you, mate. Bye-bye. John, this is getting ridiculous now. You've got the link. Come on. If you don't, we are just going to block you. It's just getting really, really silly. This is what I mean. It's football. There is zero need to talk to people like this. It's absolutely getting ridiculous. Billy, thank you for being patient. I'm so sorry, buddy. I'm so sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all good.
I was enjoying that conversation. Sorry, it's really hot under these lights.
I can see you sweating there as well.
Billy, Tottenham Hotspur. I find it difficult, Billy, because if I'm asked a question and I answer it, I'm then automatically called negative. Like I'm automatically told, "Oh, just enjoy the win," when we weren't even talking about the Everton game. Do you know what I mean? But Billy, what do you want to say? Tottenham Hotspur, 5 days of the window left. What do you want to talk about?
Well, personally, I want to talk about the Leicester game.
Right, go for it.
So, personally, what I saw in the first half, like everyone's saying, "Oh yeah, we were great first half." We had all the possession and that, but what did we actually do with it? What was the end goal? I mean, what I saw, I was watching it on TV, right? What I saw was we were playing walking football.
Yeah,
that's, and I think that's down to Ange's tactics. Personally, do I think we're going to get top 4 this year? No, not playing like that. Yes, we played Everton yesterday, and yes, we were good yesterday. But again, it's Everton. When we play Newcastle, Arsenal, we've got Man United in a couple of weeks as well. Yeah. Are we going to play like that and still get that much draw with the ball? No, we're not. So I think that teams will start to punish us. You look at Leicester, as you say, it only took them 45 minutes to work us out.
Look, I completely agree with you. First and foremost, I think it's really difficult, right? Because we're in an era of football now where top 4 is considered to be like this sort of
gold dust,
this utopian success. Look, can Ange get top 4 this year? I mean, look, for me, I think the one thing I would say here, by the way, the person that's just joined in the background, if you don't have your camera on, you're not coming on. By the way, Ryan, you will be next. And I can go for another hour or so, by the way, people. So let's start seeing some of you come on. Let's start seeing some of these people come on. The big talkers, the Cam Tinleys, the Billies. These people who are really good at having a go at me, but never actually want to come on and have a conversation. Let's see some of these people come on. And big up to Ben, the last caller. I really, really enjoyed that. Great question. Do you want to see how much of a difference it makes if I turn off all my lights? Like that. It just doesn't quite look the same, my friend. Look, someone thinks you look like Matt Damon. Take it. Just take it. Run with it. He's pretty successful. Look, Billy, I think the difficult thing is the top 3 for me are done, right? I can't see any way that City and Arsenal aren't first and second. I can't see that Liverpool don't finish third. All this talk of Klopp going, their players are so good. They are. I watched them today.
Yeah.
They move the ball lovely. They've got goal scoring options all over the pitch. They should have won today about 12-0. After that, is full up for grabs? I would say probably it is. Do we have the best chance of getting it? I don't think so, because I don't think we've bought. I'll ask you this, Billy. Have we bought enough experience to drag us over that line that we didn't have last year, plus playing in Europe.
No, absolutely not. The only player we've brought in is Solanke for the first team. You know what I mean? Everyone else is on the bench, reserve players. They're all youngsters, and the thing is, we're expecting these youngsters to be ready for now when we all know they're not, and we expect them to help us to finish top 4. I mean, look, they might do in a couple of years, but for me, I can't see it this year. You know, we need to go and sign ready-made players, and as we all know, Tottenham just don't do that. You know, and that's what I put in the chat earlier about when I saw Amanda Staveley. She's looking to bid, 650 million into the club.
Yeah, wasn't it like 25% of the club or something?
Something like that. Yeah. But I think she's trying to hopefully, in a couple of years, try and get to that point where she actually has an opportunity of buying the club as a whole, which is, I think, what we need to move forward, because I don't think Daniel Levy is going to progress us, at all. So
yeah, look, do you know what I think here, right? I think that the difficult thing is, do I have a problem with signing young players? Absolutely not. I've got no problem with it. And obviously, the more I talk about it throughout the summer, it sounds like I hate it. But as I said to the last guy, if we're signing Gray, Bergvall, and Odegaard,
there has to be a balance.
But then you're signing, for me, a Locatelli who plays in midfield, a proper winger that we wanted, like somebody like a Kudus, like a Bakayoko, like a Nico Williams. I'm not saying we get him, but
no.
If you're signing that, if you're signing these senior pros, then the youth behind them, I'm going, I like that. We've actually bought for now, plus we've got some succession planning. But we don't. What we've done is we've bought succession planning for what? Like, we've got Brennan Johnson, we've got Timo Werner, we've got, you know what I mean? We had Solomon.
This is what we do every year, Sarah. You know what I mean? This is what we do every year. We buy players for 2 years' time. We sell them, like Brian Hill, for instance.
Yeah.
You know, we bought him, right? Oh, yeah, 2 years. Oh, yeah, he'll be great. What happened there? You know, it's just unbelievable. Like, personally, when João Gomez got mentioned last week, I thought, you know what? He might do a job in the middle because we have no one else. But even that's gone quiet now. Like, I'm just thinking, like, well, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know, what's our transfer strategy? What's our strategy to go forward as a club? There ain't, you know?
Look, I agree. Look, if we're not going to buy for now, that's fine. But then Ange needs to stop telling people to have a winning mentality.
Yep.
Ange needs to stop telling people that he's here to win now.
Mm-hmm.
And the chairman needs to stop saying things like we're going to compete. Because I'm looked down upon for me trying to hold the manager and the chairman to their word.
Yep.
Fans seem to have made this narrative, right?
Mm-hmm.
That somewhere someone has said it's a 5-year plan. I've never heard anyone at the club say that.
Who said that? Yeah.
We've made that narrative, Billy, and you know why? It means these people can never be wrong. So what I mean by that is, if Ange was sacked in a year, right? What they'll do is go, oh, you see, but he didn't get the 5-year project. Then what happens is the new manager comes in and they go, 5-year project, 5-year project, 5-year. You can never be wrong if you have a 5-year project.
It's a never-ending cycle. You know, it's just like every manager we get in, 3 years, 5 years, 3 years, 5 years. It's just like, well, when are we actually going to start challenging for stuff? You know, under Pochettino, that's the closest we've got in a long time.
Agreed. And,
you know, what have we done since? You know, after the Champions League final, we've done absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is, right, I was talking to someone the other day about Jose Mourinho. When we got him in, I wasn't against it at the time. But then once I saw his football and how he's gone backwards since he last managed Chelsea, the first time he managed Chelsea, to the way he is now, is completely different. Football's changed. You know, and I think when we sacked him before the Carabao Cup final, I think that was wrong personally.
Mm-hmm.
But
for sure.
You know, I was so wrong personally, but I can see why they did it from Levy's perspective, because obviously if he wins that, it's difficult to then sack him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So,
Billy, if listen, love Jose, hate Jose, somewhere in the middle with Jose. If he wins that cup, he is then turning around and to the manager and goes, look at the club, look at the squad I've got, and look what I've won.
Yeah.
Now imagine what I would do if you back me. Levy don't want that. Levy,
No, of course he doesn't.
If Spurs won a league title, for Daniel Levy would be the worst thing that ever happened, because then he'd have to spend on top players every year to keep trying to win it. This is what people don't understand. Listen, by the way, I have blocked that, John, by the way. MK, I love this sort of conversation. We have already, MK, come on. I'd love to talk to you about this. We've already seen signing ready-made players like Lo Celso, ready-made at what? Ndombele, ready-made at what? He was a kid. Richarlison, Bergwijn, Aurier, Sanchez. These are not ready-made players, MK. These are poor signings. The foundation is paramount, which is what Ange is building. But he's not building it. He's building kids. If you want to build a core, go and buy a proper midfielder. Go and buy proper wingers. Build the foundation then. It's this is what I mean. People like MK, they mistake poor players for ready-made players. And Billy, the one thing I'd ask you is this before I let you go and bring on Ryan.
Go on.
We must be the only group of fans that see bad signings and use it as an excuse to never try again.
Yeah.
Man City, Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, all of them, Villa. These clubs make bad signings. Of course they do. I don't ever see it as them using it as a reason why, do you know what? We can't ever go and try another player. What we do is go, well, it didn't work when we spent 60 million on Ndombele. Let's never do it again. What? That's ridiculous. That's a scouting issue. Oh, mate.
It's like when like someone just said there about Sanchez, right? He had one decent season in the Eredivisie, and then we spend what, 30 million on him? You know what I mean? Even Vincent Janssen, for instance, right? When we signed him, he had one season where he scored like 29 goals or something. Comes to the Premier League and absolutely flops. You know, this is what we do. You know, we sign players from abroad that have had one good season, bring them in, and then go, oh, why isn't it working? Because they're not established players.
Listen, I think people don't understand the difference between spending a lot on a player and actually having scouted that player for a very long time. I'll tell you what sums up our fan base, and then I will have to let you go. Ryan's been very patiently. What sums up our fan base is I remember back in 2019, during that summer, everyone lost their minds with Ndombele. Everyone lost their minds with Lo Celso. Everyone was telling me that Sessegnon and Clark were the two young players he wanted, right? When it didn't work out, it was, Poch wasn't backed. And this is what we can't keep consistent. We always say the manager's been backed. Like, you watch all these people, right, that are loving this process. If it doesn't work, and if Ange is sitting in 10th and 11th or whatever, blah, 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 they'll find a reason as to why it didn't work, rather than just say, oh, maybe it's because we didn't buy the players that are good enough. But listen, as I've said, I'm predicting 7th for the season. Where are you predicting before I let you go?
I'd say 6th.
6th.
I'd say 6th, yeah.
And 7th. Listen, Billy, thanks for your patience. Really appreciate you coming on, my friend. And you're always welcome on, all right?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Cheers, buddy. Take care. Enjoy. I'm going to bring Ryan out now. Just quickly before I do, come on, guys and girls, smash that like button. We should be on over 350 likes by now. It is free to do. Super chats. Big up Rinketic, who came on earlier, has said, yeah, Ben, Leipzig replaced Timo before he left RB Leipzig. Yeah, I think using Timo Werner as any kind of basis on anything for me just doesn't do any strength to an argument. When the Spurs go marching in and says, have a great show, and come on, people, smash the likes. Big up to you, Paul. I really appreciate that. Thank you, buddy. And Scott M, big up, mate. Appreciate that. Says, big up to all the mods. You are killing it tonight. Unfortunately, when you do these shows, even though the fact that I am hosting a show that allows everyone to come on, I don't see Last Word on Spurs doing this. I don't see the big Spurs channels doing this. I'm allowing everyone to come on and still getting absolute pelters in the chat. It's absolutely unbelievable. Ryan, so sorry. Just quickly, Ryan, before I start with you, People, there's no one after Ryan at the moment. If you want the show to keep going, there is the link. I've put it in there. It is there. This is your last chance. If no one comes in after Ryan, I will end the show. So it's your last chance. All you haters, where are you? I'm calling you out right now. How you doing, Ryan? You okay, buddy?
Yeah, bro, not too bad, man. Not too bad. Just before we start, if you do hear some bad loud meowing, it's because my cat's pregnant and she's probably giving birth in my bedroom floor. So sorry about that crude information just beforehand, but yeah,
that is a first for my YouTube channel. I think that if there are cats about to give birth, but I mean, fair play. Ryan, what do you want to? I mean, Tottenham. What do you want to talk about? Anything you want?
Look, right. It's first of all, Sav. Right, I agree with everything you say. Literally, it's not because I'm trying to brown nose you or anything, brother. I just agree because it gets ridiculous, right? And something that Ben said, I swear he must be living back in the early part of the Premier League years when Man United won something with kids. I swear down that must be the case. But and it's not just Ben; it's probably most of these fans that are saying, "Oh, well, we can win things with kids." I swear they do, Sam.
Yeah, look, I don't understand. Look, for me, if the club really, I've said this loads, right? If the club want to go down this youth route that loads of people are championing, Brian, go down the bloody youth route. If you want to go down the youth route, don't buy Solanke at 27. Yeah, get rid of Ben Davis, who's got, 1-2 years left on his contract and is 30, 32, whatever he is. Don't bring in Timo Werner, who's 28 or whatever he is on loan. Right? If you want to go down this youth route, grow a pair and go down the youth route. Yeah. Then, Ryan, if you hate it, tough luck. If I hate it, tough luck. But do it. But do it. What we're doing is we're not going down a youth route. We've got hardly any young players are actually starting in the 11. I'm not saying they're old, but when you actually look who started yesterday, Kulu's now at 24, 23, 24. Yeah, he's a young man, but he's not a teenager. Madison, what's he, 28? Basuma, what's he, 27, 28?
I think he's 29.
What age is Son? Yeah? What age is...
1, I think.
Yeah, no, I don't need the exact. I'm just going through the point. Brennan Johnson's nearly 24. Yeah, Odegaard's a kid. Romero's not a kid. Van der Ven's been a pro for about 3 or 4 years now. Yeah. So is a doggy. So is Porro. So is Vicar. Like we're making out like we're putting out a team of kids, and they're all going to grow together. But more than likely, what's going to happen is the better players are going to be cherry picked. The better players are going to be cherry-picked in the next 2 years if we don't put some top players alongside them.
Yeah, and it's annoying, Sava, because like people are saying, "Oh, well," because I saw something somewhere. I think it was today. I think it was where they're using that classical world class with Romero. It makes me laugh because. If he's world class, then why have Barcelona not got him? Why have Madrid not got him?
Look, I mean, whether I've had this battle with people for years and years and years and years. And by the way, this is a great comment. Whenever people tell me, "Man, you did it with kids," Man, you had a lot of top players there for the kids to learn and play with. Look, you're right. I mean, look, I think Romero's a good footballer. I do think everyone goes completely over the top. Like I said earlier, and I saw comments in the chat. I said earlier to whoever was on, I said, look, let's be realistic. Does anyone truly believe any of our players get in the Arsenal 11? And I'm seeing people go, oh, my God, Romero definitely does. Oh, Van der Ven definitely does. Son definitely does. Then I'm looking at it and going, Arsenal have got the best back four in the league. Arsenal have got let that sink in. They've got the best back four in the league, right? Their two centre-backs both got in the Premier League Team of the Year. And our fans think that our two centre-halves that are constantly caught out for goals suddenly are better than Gabriel. But this is what we do. This is what we do. We have coping mechanisms, Ryan. Right? For me, if and it's not Van der Ven and Romero, if they're as good as everyone says, Spurs should only concede 40 goals this year, minimum. Maximum. If we're as good as everyone says, Let's see them. Let's see them keep loads of clean sheets.
Yeah, I mean, it was. Do I think yesterday was a shock that we kept a clean sheet? Probably not, because it was Everton, but it's annoying because people are saying, "Oh, well, now we're going to start having great. We're going to go and keep another clean sheet against Newcastle." It's not guaranteed that we will.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. I mean, look, see, straight away you get this. This is what I mean. It's not even a debate. VDV over Gabriel, who's part of the best defence in the league, right? Arsenal fans last year were saying that Gabriel was better than Saliba. Both were in the Premier League Team of the Year, and look at this nonsense. It's not even a debate. No, it's not a debate. VDV, what's VDV done to get in above Gabriel or Romero? And that's not me hating Van der Ven. I think he's our best player. But yeah, what's he done to get in above those two?
Nothing. That's exactly the point, Sam. Nothing.
This is what I mean.
But then everyone says, "Oh, because Romero." They people. I think most of our fan base also base Romero being world class because he's won a World Cup, and that you can't base it on that.
Look, I find it really, really interesting. First and foremost, I don't think it really matters about who would get in that 11, but the point is, I don't think any of ours would. No. And for example, when I see people talking about Romero, right, they talk about him like he's Ledley King, right? Now, depending on people's age, Ledley King, let me tell you, that lad was world class. That boy oozed quality at everything. That boy was absolutely sensational. This Romero can't lace his boots, as Paul Van Beek said, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, right, as well, right, is that I like Mickey and I like Cootie, yeah, right, but neither of those two could lace King's boots, because King would always put his body on the line, even on one leg, because that's literally, by the end of it, that's what he had, was one leg, didn't he? In the end.
Yeah. But by the way, Cam Tinley, clean sheets. If you're going to play attacking football, you're not going to get a huge number. Man City play attacking football. Arsenal play attacking football. They had the best two defences in the league last year. Arsenal, Liverpool over the years, they play attacking football. I don't see them conceding goals at a rate of knots. So again, these are really, really silly. These are really silly points. Look, MK has said, but football is a team sport. Yeah, of course it is. Romero individually is top 3 in the league. Based on what? I don't get it. I watched yesterday again in the first half, a couple of Romero's passes out from the back straight to Everton players, but Everton are crap. They can't capitalise. I thought Romero was crap against Leicester City, but we straight away go, oh my God, he's much better than Arsenal centre halves. I don't know what it's based on. Whoever that is that's just come in the background after Ethan, please go away with that really silly name. Idiots. Legs of Berwick Val walks into this Arsenal team. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah.
Well, okay, if Bergwall walks into that Arsenal team, right, then who does he replace? Because he definitely doesn't replace anyone like a Rice or an Ødegaard or anything like that. He doesn't. He just doesn't. He's a 19-year-old kid. Do you know what? It's funny because I'd rather probably take Endrick. If we was to go down this, if what people want is this youth route, right? I would have loved to have taken Endrick before he went to Real Madrid. If that was the route he was going to go
but
down.
Spurs, you know, there's a reason he went to Real Madrid, right? Let's be fair. We're not getting players like that, Ryan. No. Look, just quickly, look, see what you get. What has Gabriel done? Gabriel's been part of the best defence in the country and has been in a team that was challenging for a title 2 years in a row. Romero's been part of a team that can't defend for 2 years now. Like, surely we've got to wait until this defensive unit actually looks like a defensive unit before we hype them up. Do you know what? Any fan I speak to that doesn't support Tottenham, none of them can see the hype about Romero. None of them can see it. And I always say to them, Good centre half, yeah. He's a good centre half. Great centre half. Not for me. I think there's far too many inconsistencies in his game. You know, look how shit he was against Leicester. I thought he was awful against Leicester.
Yeah, and that annoyed me because I thought we were going to get 3 points in that game, Sav. I honestly thought at one point we were going to get 3 points. I knew we probably wouldn't keep a clean sheet, but I would have taken the 3 points. A 2-1 win, I would have taken that. And we had the chance to win that game. But Richarlison decided to put one over the bar.
No, I agree. I agree. Listen, by the way, Alex, I don't disagree with you here, but the difference is that doesn't mean that, you know, I watched Romero against Leicester City. Romero's defending against Jamie Vardy was nothing to do with the players in front of him. It was his defending. He let Jamie Vardy get in behind him countless times. Countless times. I just look. Here we go. Romero's been. Here we go. I love this. I love this one. Romero's been part of a team that won the World Cup and Copa America. Okay. Is Alexis McAllister a world-class midfielder? No. He's a very good midfielder. Is he world-class? No. Is Montiel a world-class right-back? No. Right. Who else played in that Argentina team? Is Rodrigo de Paul the best midfielder in the world? No. But because Romero plays for Spurs, it's just madness. No,
the funny thing is, though, Sav, right? The funny thing is,
don't get it. They don't. Critical thinking is really important when listening to a point.
Yeah, and the thing is, right, Sav, right? McAllister might not be a world-class player, but he's improved our midfield 10 tons.
Okay, mate. No, of course, but my point is if we're going to use the point that so-and-so has won a World Cup, right, then you know, what are we saying? Does Martinez from Villa get into any team in the Premier League because he's won a World Cup?
No.
He was the World Cup winning goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Who played centre-half with Romero in that World Cup? Who was it? What's his name? Used to play for City, maybe?
Oh, Otamendi.
You know what I mean? This is the thing. Absolutely, Ash. Don't care what trophies they win. Again, it's like when you look at Spain. Yeah. If I turn around to anyone right now and said, "Do you want Cucurella over a doggy?" Our fans would go, "Oh my God, a doggy's amazing." Another one, by the way, watch him yesterday. He can't stop giving the football away. I don't mind a doggy. I think he's decent, but he keeps giving the football away. And our fans keep talking about him. Like, people go, he gets in the Arsenal 11. No, he bloody doesn't. No, he doesn't. This is what we do. You know?
Okay, then, well, if that's the case, yeah, right, then what, does Yves Bissouma getting over Rice then? People should start asking that question because I don't think in any way, shape or form that Bissouma gets in over Rice.
Yeah.
Much better player.
Yeah. Look, a big up to you. Listen, Ryan, I'm going to let you go. I've got to get Ethan on before I end the show. Thanks for coming on, dude. Good luck to your cat. Hope you have lots of kittens, and I'll see you later, mate.
All right, cheers, Sav. You too, mate.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, bye. I'm going to bring Ethan on in a minute, and that will be my last guest. Please do smash the like button. We've been really tight of it tonight. I'm actually I'll be honest, I'm really disappointed. I thought I'll give up my Sunday night. I thought we'll do a show where I let any Spurs fan on, and I've had one subscriber all night and hardly any likes. It's been really, really difficult. By the way, just quickly before I get Ethan on, listen, where are we? Romero was the top defender in the hardest defensive league in the world. What, he won it that year, but there were much better defenders in the league than him. I just think it's madness. Phil COYS, Sava, you would have Gabriel over VDV. I'm talking as an individual defender. Yeah, I think Gabriel's a top defender. For me, Van der Ven is still learning the game. He's very, very quick, but I want to see more from him over the next couple of years. Gabriel, for me, is a really solid, underrated defender. Always in the right position, loves the battle. But again, Phil, look, again, we've got what we deserve. We talk about our players. There's a reason they're not at bigger clubs. There's a reason yet. Absolutely barbaric disdain. Big up, Ethan. How you doing, man? You well?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks. I'm very well. What is it you want to say about Tottenham Hotspur?
I have to keep it brief, but
Okay.
I wanted to talk about our transfer window so far
Okay.
and what we have to do in the remaining days.
Sure.
Obviously, at the start of the window, everybody wanted a DM, a winger, and a striker. We've got the striker and winger in Solanke and Odegaard.
hmm
It's obvious that DM wasn't a priority for us this window, which I don't really understand whatsoever. But
hmm
I think we're so light at the back, and I don't think fans are taking enough notice of the fact that we only have 3 centre backs, Udogie at left back, and Ben Davies proved last season that he couldn't play the system. I mean, he's been a player that. Sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, so he's been a player that's not been good enough for a long time. And yeah, our fans continue to persist that he's good enough to be that rotation option.
Yeah, look, Ethan, I don't disagree with you. I think that we've neglected many areas in this transfer window. It seems that the need to bring in kids constantly. We've brought in an 18-year-old winger, a 19-year-old winger, 2 18-year-old midfielders. And I agree with you. I think we've neglected the back four. What they'll say is, well, look, you've got Jed Spence that can play there, but I don't think Jed Spence defensively is good enough.
No.
You've got 3 centre-halves plus Ben Davies, who by trade is a left-back. But again, if this is what Spurs do, Ethan, if we get to a stage where Ben Davies has to play because we've got injuries, then what these fans can't do is then go, oh, well, it's not Ange's fault he's got Ben Davies playing, because they've not built the squad properly. They've not they wanted kids rather than actually going and buying first-team players. That's criminal for me.
Absolutely. I think the squad building itself has actually been very poor. I was surprised that we haven't gone in for a more of a hybrid of a centre back, left back who can play that role. Similar to Calafiori, that type of player who can cover in both areas.
Ethan, you're absolutely spot on. I would have thought that, you know, when you're looking at it, Arsenal in the last 2 windows, so in the last 2 summers, they bought Urian Timber, who can play anywhere across the back. And then this window, they've bought in Calafiori, who can play left back or left centre half. Ben White can play centre half or right back. You know, you look like they've got a lot of players that can cover everywhere. Then you look at Spurs and it's sort of like, you know, I still think you've got 4 competitions this year, only 3 senior centre halves. Project Youth meant that we sent a 19-year-old Ashley Phillips out on loan rather than saying, you know what, you're going to be off 4th choice centre half. So I agree with you. At the end of the day, we will see at the end of the season. But when we get injuries and people start using it as an excuse, these are the times where you address that. This is where you counter for this. And I remember, Ethan, if I go back to exactly a year ago when it was the last week of the transfer window last summer, I remember saying, God, we need defenders, right? And people are going, no, we're all right. Then Van der Ven and Romero got injured and everyone went, oh, we didn't have defenders. Well, yeah, that's what happened.
Well, we let Davinci Sanchez go on the last week of the window, didn't we, without replacing him?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Look, I agree. Lots of people have talked about this guy as well, David Hanko. Again, I feel that we still need to get a couple in. I've got a feeling it will end up being someone very underwhelming if we bring in a defender in the next 5 days.
I agree.
But we'll see.
It wouldn't surprise me if we brought somebody in on loan to cover that role for a year.
Yeah, I completely agree. But look, at the end of the day, as I've said, have we done enough to finish in Europe next season? I think we have. I think that's where we're at. Have we done enough to kick on a level? No. And that's the difference. I think if people actually listen to that statement I make rather than pretending what I'm saying, they'll understand where I think I am. But listen, Ethan, I really appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much. Are you Ethan Bates?
Yes, I am.
You are? Okay, cool. Big up to you. You're always very generous in the chat. So thank you so much for that, my friend. Listen,
Thank you for having me on.
always, my man. Always. Listen, enjoy your bank holiday tomorrow, and enjoy the end of the transfer window if that's possible.
I'll try to.
Good man. Good man. Thanks for that, Ethan. I really appreciate you coming on. Take care, dude.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
And you.
Right. What I'll say is, if anyone wants to come on, this is the last chance I'm going to give people before I end the show. This is the last chance. All the haters in the chat, this is your chance. Can I please kindly ask, can we get 5 to 10 subscribers to make this show worthwhile? Big up as well, by the way, to Philip Randall. What a legend. What an absolute legend. Just sticking in a super sticker. Really appreciate you, my friend. You didn't have to do that, but I do appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. And a comment here that I did star that I think is interesting is this. This is what I love, right? So the excuse is that Romero had to play alongside Davis, Longley, Dyer, Royale, Reguilon for 3 years, right? First and foremost, you know, Romero didn't have to play with them for 3 years. He only played 2 seasons. Second of all, last season, he didn't play with those players and still conceded the same amount of goals as the season before, or 2 less. Why? You know, we can make up all the excuse we want. Big up Adrian's. Well, absolutely. This is the last chance for any haters or anybody else. This is the last chance. I'll give it a couple of minutes and then I will have to end the show. We've been going for just over 2 hours now. I will have to end the show. Terry O'Shea, big up, brother. I said, don't worry, Sav. We've got Ben Davies who covers left back and left centre back. But again, this is what we do. This is our squad planning where we go, don't worry, we don't need that. We've got Ben Davies. We'll see. Dale 104 said this project is quite clearly designed with a view to bring in full throttle. And this again, I can see at least 5 or 6 of our players being sold on for big money if we don't succeed. Yeah, those players will go and then we won't succeed. That's the problem, in my opinion. Billy Wilson, Neil, big up, Billy. Thanks for coming on and said, hopefully we can bring in Yao Gomez. I don't think we will because signing Gomez is too much ambition. Yeah, I just don't think we've got the appetite for it. I really don't think we've got the appetite to really go big. Big up to JK27. I hope you're well, my man. Hadrian, it doesn't look like these people can. They're always in the chat. Yeah, they're always in the chat, but they never actually... sorry, I'm just banning a guest who keeps coming on in the background with a horrible name. Guys, girls, I am going to leave it there. Listen, really, really enjoyed that. Thank you to everybody. Look, at the end of the day, it is just football. I do think some of the comments that come in are absolutely ridiculous. It is just football. And you know what? At the end of the day, somebody's right, somebody's wrong. It doesn't really matter. It's just football. Let's just talk football. Most YouTubers give you a platform to talk football. Please, from the bottom of my heart, not just against me, but against all YouTubers, can you please just stop being so rude to everybody? The number of people who don't understand that we've got families that see these chats as well, and it doesn't need to be rude all the time. Daniel Harris said bringing Brighton getting Matt O'Reilly. Yeah, I like Matt O'Reilly. I think he's a good player. I do. Apparently, he fell out with Ange, and that's why there was no link there, so to speak. When the Spurs go marching in and said we never had a full balanced squad, that's been our problem for years. I agree. It's always next year. We'll deal with that next year. Thank you to whoever's just subscribed. Can we get 3 more for the night to make it 5 for the evening and make it worthwhile? Lynn Simpson has said, hi, Sava. But my opinion is down to Ange because, in my opinion, it's down to Ange because he seems clueless on who to buy. We'll never know, will we? We'll never know the full truth of it. Big up, Billy. It's a great show tonight. I'd fall out with Ange with his god-awful tactics. Listen, we'll see. Listen, a good time to play Newcastle. Let's go there. Let's beat them. Let's see what he does against Man United and Arsenal. We've got some tough games coming up, so we'll see. And big up to Terry O'Shea, who's literally just put in a super sticker. That's very kind of you. I really, really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Guys, girls, I'm absolutely shattered now. I am going to jump now. But Terry, really appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone for the super chats. Thank you to everybody who's liked, everybody who's subscribed. And listen, I will be doing a transfer deadline day show on Friday. Hopefully we'll have some news to talk about during the week. MK, say 3 things I like about Tottenham. I love that Tottenham used to win things. I love that Tottenham Hotspur always gives us something to talk about. It's never dull. I love that. And I love that one day I hope we get a chairman who's going to actually get us some success. Take care, everyone. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs. If I could find the button, this would be great. See you later, everyone. Take care.